Hey, it's Jason from Pro Guitar Studio. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about grace note hammer-ons. Now, if you saw the video at the beginning, I was doing grace note hammer-ons there. You might not have noticed. So if you stick around to the end, I'll show you that phrase. But first, we'll talk about what a grace note hammer-on is. So a hammer-on, you might already have done this before, is where we take one note, we're going to play a note, and we're going to use our finger to transfer that energy from, let's say, the 5th fret on the D string to the 7th fret on the D string as well. So a hammer-on can be only done on the same string. If you're hammering on from one note, it'll be to another note on the same string, higher fret. Now what we want to do as we go through, let's say from 5 to 7, using my index and my ring, we want to go fast enough so that we transfer that energy without muting the string. So if you go too slow, what will happen is this. And what I find usually happens when someone first starts with a hammer-on, they do it too slowly. They go, and they push really hard, and they think that pushing really hard will actually help that sound become louder. But really what you're looking at is the speed is too slow to transfer that energy from the 5th fret to the 7th fret. Now you can also, if you go fast enough, make sound yourself. So add vibration in as well. But if you go too slow, you're not going to add any vibration and you're just going to dampen the string. So if we go from 5 to 7, fast enough, basically we would transfer the energy from fret number 5 to fret number 7. Now at first you might think you have to actually push pretty hard. But like I said, the most important thing is how fast you come down. So you can even come down from a very close distance, like from here. I'm barely say a couple millimeters off the fretboard. And I can make a nice clear hammer-on from right above the string, as long as we go fast enough. Whereas if you go from, let's say, this far away, you're wasting energy by trying to push the finger all the way from here, trying to bring it down to push it to there. So keep in mind, it can be done from a super close distance. And if you're doing like over and over hammer-on pull-off, it's probably better for your hand over time instead of going too far away in terms of getting your fingers exhausted. It's better to keep that motion really short, right? So just try to minimize the motion. So again, the hammer-on from 5 to 7, it's all about the speed, okay? So that's our first thing about hammer-ons. Now it can be done from any fret to any fret. So if you go from 5 to 6, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 9, and you can even go further up if you want to use a different finger. So we could use our right hand or picking hand to actually make a note sound higher up on the fretboard, right? And that's where you say two-handed tapping comes in. All right. Now this lesson is not about that. So we're looking here at, let's say, hammer-on from 5 to 7. Now, a lot of times a hammer-on will be in time with, let's say, like 8th notes, right? So if I did hammer-ons from the pentatonic scale, all those notes last an equal amount of time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... The difference with the grace note hammer-on is that first note doesn't really get a time value. So let's say I was doing 8th notes, right? Those are half a beat each, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... A grace note is so fast that that first note doesn't get a time value written out. It basically has a slash through it, so it would be like an 8th note with a slash through it. And we're going to go pretty quickly where that first note doesn't get a time value, but we'll count the second note as, let's say, a quarter note. So in this case here, 1 and 2, I can't even count while I'm doing this, but let's go. We're going pretty quick, right? So a grace note hammer-on, instead of like that, so we're basically almost sounding like a slide. I use these all the time just to add some embellishment to the notes I'm playing. And you can even take a note that you normally would just play as. So I'm going 7, 5 on the 3rd string, 7, 7 on the D string. I can hammer on to the 7 with a grace note, back to the 5, and then do 2 grace note hammer-ons again. And it adds a bit more color. Now you don't want to do it all the time, so you can add it in just to make it sound a little more interesting as you're playing. So there's a lot of instances that this come in handy. All right, so the piece played at the beginning of this video, we started off with a grace note hammer-on from 5 to 7 on the G string. Back to 5, and then we're going to play a 7 on the D string, and as a grace note slide. We're going to slide from 7 to 5. To the 3rd fret on the D string, to the 5th fret on the A string. Back to the 3rd fret, 5th fret twice, and we're going to do a grace note hammer-on from 3 to 4 on the D string. Back to 5 on the A string. All right, so the second time we're going to go through. Same idea, but we're going to go 7, 5, and then we're going to go 7 on the D string, 5, and then a grace note hammer-on from 5 to 7. So grace note from 5 to 7 on the G, to 5, and then we're going to play 7 on the D string, 5, and grace note hammer-on from 5 to 7. So that was the first part. Now the third time around, third repetition, is going to be the same thing as the first one. All right, and then the fourth ending here, 5th fret twice on the low E string, 3rd fret on the A string, 3rd fret on the D string, and then a grace note hammer-on from 3 to 5 on the A string. So from the beginning, first time, right? Second time. Third time here is the same as the first. And the ending. So a nice quick little phrase you can work on. The most important part there is just practicing that grace note hammer-on, right? And you can throw it into your playing anytime you're playing with pentatonic scales, major scales, minor scales, whatever scale you want to put in there. You can also use it to add to your melodies, whatever you want to play. Even something you already have created, if you just want to add some character or color to that note, instead of playing the grace note hammer-on, can just add a little bit of color, right? It's a lot of fun to play with. If you have questions about this, let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this each week. See you later.